Alright, welcome back to part 8 of my rock tutorial. To begin with, I actually started out creating a pretty complex, I would say, rock type thingy. And since I now have shown how I can use my Wacom tablet, I'm actually going to be using that instead to do some quite simpler one. Because it doesn't necessarily need to be super complex in order to get something going here. So in this video, we are gonna I'm gonna be creating go away a fairly simple rock. So to begin with, I'm just gonna, just like I did in the initial video, just gonna chop away big chunks of this, but I'm gonna keep it a little bit more controlled this time. Just try and create some kind of not a square, but a little bit more controlled. So as you can see here, just chopping away from different angles, so get something which I can start working on. As you can see, I'm actually right now working on the lowest subdivision level, and I have Dynamesh enabled. So actually, I just want to keep it that way for now. But in a moment, I'm gonna subdivide this. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on details at this point because it's gonna be blurred out anyway in a moment. So also I'm not really satisfied with this, so let's pull this out a little bit, and maybe so we're going to be creating some kind of simple boulder, I think. Yeah, so I guess this is actually gonna be perfectly okay for now with this level of detail here. So I'm just gonna save. I have a feeling it's gonna crash on me. It does that sometimes. So I have to make a new folder, and let's call this test 03. And okay, so let's move up to 1024, or maybe, yeah, that's gonna be quite a lot, but it's gonna be okay, I think. So while it's processing, yeah, I think I mentioned it before, but the reason why we do a high poly and then a low poly, or is to get some details out so we can use that in normal maps. And as I mentioned before, the normal maps will keep all the small details that won't be catched in actual geometry, but it's gonna be some kind of a bluish texture map that keeps this information. That's super easy, super simple version of it. Okay, so let's see. So now we have some more geometry to work with, so we can actually start adding a little bit more detail to this and see if we can try not to screw this up. So actually at this point, I like to focus a little bit on the edges here. So just create something which actually does maybe could be something that would you would find in nature. This is whoops. Usually I like to work around the edges here. It's just easier for me. I have no idea how other people do this, so just showing how I do it, and I guess there are tons of ways you can do this really. So there's not really much to say about this. I'm just gonna spend a few more minutes just making a few adjustments to this. It's not like I'm gonna spend a whole lot of time on this. I might do a little more on this off video, but just gonna take a few minutes to do this so you can see get a feel of how it is I'm working with this in case you're interested in that, and what kinds of adjustments I tend to make. And it's kind of sometimes I drag it, but usually it's very short strokes I use, so it's like sometimes I'll just tap in, as you can hear maybe, because it's with the trim smooth border, it's picking up different angles each time I tap it, so it's gonna create some oops, so I'll do that, some different variations. So here's another thing I like to do sometimes to create, oops, that last one didn't turn out so well, some kind of layered effect, which you can often see. So I just move to the border. Once it picks up a height difference, I just move on from there. It's nice to create these kind of things. We can do it again here, just for the fun of it. And once you see it's going down, you can drag again. So it's a good way to create this kind of stuff. But as I may have mentioned in some of the other videos, once you put textures on, and once you put all the alpha stems and all that stuff, a lot of this is not really gonna matter, because it's gonna be hidden underneath whatever happens in the last detailing pass. So I can't really say how much effort you need to put into this. The less you can see the brush strokes, the better, I would say. But even this kind of stuff, it can be evened out with the correct amount of alphas just on top of it. So it's not really anything catastrophic to have that kind of stuff. So let's see, what else can we do? This guy here. So I think we are almost all the way around. So there was whoops, yeah, just keep that, whatever. Sometimes if you make a mistake and you swing around, then you go, that's actually pretty nice. So sometimes you get lucky. Here I actually might want to add something. So I just hold down Alt or my appropriate button to get a little bit of height. So because I didn't want this to be all flat. So anyway, let's say we are almost happy with this. This looks a bit weird actually. So let's just even that out. Then at this point, I would probably go and save this. And let's just do a little bit more on the bottom side here. And I say bottom because a lot of these things I like to be able to rotate them, because obviously I'm going to be using them inside Unreal Engine, and having them unique on each side allows me to rotate them and reuse them in a number of ways. So that's also why I tend to do, at this point, do fairly blocky, square-ish rocks, because you can also stretch them and squish them, and then they become flat, and you know, then I don't have to make too many. So yeah, it looks kind of well, kind of a little bit boring, but I guess this is gonna do. I can't really tell what's going on in there. Let's just chop some of that out. It's actually better before. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not going to do more detailing at this point. So I would go ahead and save this as my my initial version, and that's actually what I like to do because once I start putting on the alphas, I might end up in a place where I think, okay, this is actually not exactly the look I wanted. So I'm gonna try and make a new type of rock, but based on the same shape. That's why I make sure to save here at this point. So let's just make a few simple alphas here. What I like to do here is use different sizes. I'm dragging out different sizes so they don't look too look too much as they're the same repeating pattern I'm using. So I might also want to switch to something like create a deep crack or something like maybe. Oh, that's bad. Let's just keep it. Let's see. What is this one? Well, it's gonna be okay. And in case you don't want to have these all over the place, you just leave it out. But that means that you're gonna have to paint. Make sure you don't have too much brush strokes visible. So here, for example, I definitely want to cover up some of this because I didn't conceal my brushes that well. Also, you can drag them into, as you can see here, I'm dragging them into a fairly blank area, and it creates this effect here. As you can see, it's kind of eating its way into a more even area. It's pretty good, I think. This area looks pretty boring. You don't necessarily want to have them all over the place, but you definitely want to have enough so you can conceal the fact that this was painted on. So here we have one of these, you can see here, and here, and here. There's a kind of an artifact from this drag rectangle. You can see it's maybe you can see it sometimes. It's distorting the the model. And in case you do that, I haven't really figured out a good way to do this, except I actually at this point I just smooth them out and try again. Excuse me. Yeah. But actually maybe it's because I have back face on off. That might be the reason. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so I'm just gonna continue popping down some of these. We use this one. What? Okay, I screwed up that one. Shame on me. Okay, good thing I have a backup of it. How about this one? Yeah, that's pretty good. So okay, and let's say we have a lot of detail at the bottom here, and we have a lot of inside, but not as much here, and we actually forgot to even this stuff out here. So I'm just gonna quickly just eat a little bit of this out here, so it's not that obvious. Okay, and yeah, that's gonna be okay, I think. Just remember, you get a texture on, and eventually it's a lot of these details we see here, they are not going to be visible anyway. So if you look at it in this view and think this is the way it's going to be, don't worry, it's going to be way different once you get it into the game engine with textures on and all that stuff. So this is mainly just for building the small shadows, and in the first part that we did, it was actually creating the main design of the actual rock. So this area here, for example, is going to be visible, and the rest is just going to be shadows and so on. So it's worth noting that. So let's create a few of these here. Like, looks like they could use it. Some cracks along the way. That's pretty good. That's looking weird. Okay, so let's also go and add a little bit of a noise noise block, and okay, I need my mouse for that. It's on near the screen. So let's go dense, and let's see, put the scale a little bit up, somewhere around there. Yeah, let's make it a fairly rough rock. So let's try and see what this does apply to mesh. It's, as you can see, it kind of inflated it, and that's not really what I wanted here. So I just undid that, and the reason for that was because I forgot to make the change to the curve down here. So you don't want to have that how it is initially. So you want to put it kind of like going to the middle and a little bit up, and maybe set a curve somewhere here, and then you can increase the strength. Oops, that was a bit too much. It takes a little bit of tinkering. I'm still not entirely sure actually what it does. So the thing is, I want to keep as much of the detail as possible, but still get some, try to avoid it overlapping towards the sides. It's a bit difficult to work with sometimes, I find. This is actually a pretty cool effect as well. So I might go with that. Just gonna go okay. I think I'm gonna go 2 passes with this. So I'm gonna store a morph target here, and I'm gonna apply this to the mesh. And it's fairly subtle, and still it adds a little bit of something. Whoops. Just gonna check on the back side that we don't have some weird faces going in. You can always check up here if you have hidden polygons, and you definitely should check if you have an invalid mesh under where is it? Geometry, mesh integrity. So everything turns out nice. So let's go to surface and add one more. Let's try a different scale this time here, and let's pull this one somewhat back. And let's try a different strength. Okay, maybe like that. What I'm looking for is if I see some of the edges popping out while still getting, oops, that was the wrong one, a bit more detail. I did save a morph target, and I think I'm gonna save one more. So I'm gonna delete this one because I'm happy with it as it is was before, and then I'm gonna store one again. And I can do that because it's not applied yet. So once I apply this, it's gonna inflate. So, God damn it. Okay, I don't need that morph target. Yes, this was a bad one. So I'm gonna try one more time, and maybe put it like that, and let's change this one. Whoops. Something more like that. That's probably gonna be okay. Let's check it out. That's probably not gonna be alright. Actually, I do like how this caused all these weird, looks really organic in a way. But it totally screws up my mesh towards the edges, so I'm just thinking about if this is worth continuing with, because there's going to be quite a lot of work trying to fix up the edges. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna undo it and try again with a different with a lesser strength. Let's see how that looks. So yeah, it inflated it a little bit. It still looks sort of okay, I think. I have an area over here I'm not really happy with. So before I end up wasting too much time on this, I'm just gonna make a few more fixes to this, and then I'm gonna do the rest of video if I'm gonna be doing more actually, so we can continue with the program. So yeah, I guess this is it, and I will be seeing you in the next video, where I will take a look at how we can actually, I'm going to start off by talking about how this will fit into Unreal Engine and what it requires to get it into Unreal Engine. So I'm going to end this video by saving a version 2 of this, and then I'll be seeing you in the next. So stay tuned, and bye bye.